So here we are in front of my storage unit. Now, whenever the topic of storage units comes up anywhere, you have to ask yourself, is it rational to even have one? What are you paying for the storage unit, and then what's the value of the stuff inside it? And the answer usually is the value is nothing. So you're paying for a bunch of stuff that you should just get rid of. In my case, I don't know if my rationale really holds up. Let's just see what's going on here. All right, first of all, we've got the airbag and we have the portable ramp for the airbag. I don't use it during the winter because we're gonna get the airbag all muddy, we're gonna tear up the lawn, not using it until like April. So the next thing I need are bicycles. Some of these bikes are loaner bikes. Like this is a large size bike. I can't fit on this, I ride a small, but I loan it out. They're actually loaner bikes that I have right now. They're out on loan as we speak. These are all things that I want to have access to, but I don't want them in my garage at all times. There's one more thing we need to put in here, and that is all my spare lumber. Now, the spare lumber doesn't need to take up a lot of space if we build a proper rack for it. So I just spoke to the people in the office at my storage unit, and they said I can anchor to the wall. I was worried about that. I was thinking we'd have to build something freestanding. They said it's no problem. So we're gonna build racks for the lumber. On the other side of the lumber rack, we're gonna build a bike rack to line up all these bikes like sardines. Then we'll have the rest of the storage unit open to store the ramp, to store the airbag, to store extra parts. First things first, I gotta get this stuff out of the way so I can actually build here. So I guess, if I'm gonna anchor to these walls, this is no good to anchor to. This is like paper thin. I can anchor to this beam, but then I'm sort of like losing 3 inches of wall space right here. So I might have to just give up that wall space. The other thing is, if I anchor here, there's not an additional beam over here to anchor to. So I've come up with a solution. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna cut blocks this width right here. I'm going to block this out all the way to the ceiling, and then I'm gonna attach a stud that goes from the floor to the ceiling, and then we'll have something to anchor to, and it should be strong enough. These do not need to be perfect. I'm gonna try and get into this beam with the drywall screws. How many of you are surprised that that worked? When I asked them if I could drill into the wall, they looked at me like I was crazy. They're like, of course. They're like, we let people become hoarders in these things. Why would we care if you drill into the wall? Seth, you should get a step ladder. I know what you're thinking. That looks kind of unsafe, but don't worry. That screw is not happy. Not a carpenter, never claimed to be a carpenter. And now we are one step closer to having a stud here that I can use to put stuff on the wall. Can you write on metal with a graphite pencil? Yes, you absolutely can. Time to cut a few supports here. Yep, good enough for me. So I would love to screw this into the wall, but chances are if I screw this into the wall, it's gonna be going into like the next guy's, I don't know, Star Wars figurine collection or something. So yeah, I'm gonna tack this in place and then brace it. I know this doesn't look like it's gonna be strong, and you're right, I'm not done. I'm gonna put a block underneath here so that it gives it just a little bit more. Again, we're not building the second story of a house, we're building a lumber rack. This stud is not straight. It's bowed something terrible. I don't know how much sketchier this can really get at this point. If this looks like poor planning, you are very astute. But I promise, once all this is kind of stuck together, it'll be way less sketchy. So I figured out that if I put my sawhorses like this in this T configuration, it's way more stable to stand on. That's like a tip that you should never ever follow. I can already hear the Seth, you should have. Yeah, I know I should have, but I didn't. I'm here. This is all I have. Somebody had a really, really good Seth you should get in the shop video. A few people mentioned a switch that turns on the vacuum cleaner automatically when you flip on the table saw, and I actually ordered one. That was a really good Seth you should get. So thank you for that. I am ready to invest in some better safety glasses because I can't even do anything with these on. Man, this is gonna be ugly. I didn't think I saw it that much. Let's hope this is a charged battery. It's almost charged. Why am I not charging my batteries? Why am I just throwing them in the bag and not putting them on the battery charger? This piece is going to go right here. I'm gonna have to put something across here. Maybe I could screw into that beam over there. There's no structural rigidity right here whatsoever in the actual building. So if I attach something here, it's not gonna do anything. So if I put a diagonal piece like this, that will keep this from racking back and forth. That wasn't supposed to work so easy. And it's even level. Not that that matters, but. I wonder what it's like to be able to reach things. Okay, it's not so bad. I left the house and I didn't realize that none of this stuff was charged. Like I had used it to build the wooden berm. So I'm going on like whatever battery was left and we're still good. It's really incredible. Almost stabbed the crap out of myself. All right, now that we have this wood storage area, which doesn't take up that much space, by the way, we're gonna store some wood in it. All right, so we knew this was gonna happen. Of course, this crap is wet now. It's not like a little water is gonna hurt this stuff, but that's what you guys come here for, is the struggle, right? You sick people. And by the way, I still have wood back at the house. This is just my spare wood. My entire YouTube channel should be called Tiny Dude Trades a Desk Job for Manual Labor. I used to be a web developer. But man, doing physical labor, it's just good for the soul. So what did we learn today so far? Well, if you want to break into my storage unit, all you need is a pair of scissors, judging by this wall. That's one thing. The other thing is, no matter how small the job, you should plan. Because I did not plan, and that was way more difficult than it needed to be. We're gonna do a little experiment here with some of the bikes, and we're gonna see how closely we can line them up together, and then I'm thinking I can get about 5 hooks on here. If we line up bikes sardine style, handlebar to rear, rear to handlebar, we can get them this far apart from each other easy. So tire to tire, we're looking at 9.5 inches. We're gonna make it 12 just for good luck. Between the wall and the first handlebar, we're gonna need about 16. There's our first one. Let's push it to 11, right? So 27, 38, 49. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 bikes. We could fit more than that. Let's push it to 10. So 26, 36, 46. All right, so we squeezed one more bike on there. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is find the center of our board so that we can put the hooks in the center, make it look good. All right, this is looking good. So we want the hook sideways. It's because we're gonna hook the wheels into the hooks. Is this already tearing? These are just terrible hooks. I'll just use brute force. Now to get these stupid labels off. Hate when companies put way too many labels on things. I know it's only 1 per hook, but it's like, come on now. I'm gonna have to put this up kind of high. let's hang up some bikes. Now, a lot of people still ask, what happened to the orange P7? I mean, it's a beautiful, just gorgeous looking hardtail. It's right here. I'm gonna sell it. I don't ride it. It's a shame. It needs to be ridden. I like it, but it's long, like this reach. That's sort of a fad. Like, companies are doing this, and I get it makes it more stable on the trail, but I like to jump around, and I'm a really small person, and yeah, not for me. Oh yeah, just gets to the wall. That's exactly what we were hoping for. So let's hang up another one. If I just throw a seat on my old release, it'll be a loaner size small. That's another thing I like about the storage unit. On the last group trip, somebody's bike, like, you know, got messed up. And so I loaned them a, you know, one from my loaner fleet, and I didn't have to take them back. You know, we stopped there, and I didn't have to like take a bunch of people back to my house. I just took them to the storage unit and we grabbed it. But look at how beautiful these line up. I could have fit more. This is technically Alexander's bike, but he's riding for Canyon now. Oh, great bike. And the tires still have air in it. It's that slime. And you know, surprisingly, the wall is stiff enough for this. Let's keep adding bikes. Yeah, most of these bikes are holding air just fine. All right, so that rack actually held all of my normal bikes, and these won't be too hard to get to either. Really not that bad. Yeah, I think you could get away with 8 inches if you're trying to really maximize some space. 10 inches is like breathing room. I don't have pedals hitting each other or anything. This is awesome. Damn, that looks good. Don't you look good? Damn. There is definitely a beam right here because they have shot these self-tapping screws into it. So we could probably put a bike rack here. The only problem is, where is the next beam? The next beam is behind here. Now, one idea is I could actually wedge the 2x6. Can I see into somebody else's storage unit this way? I could actually wedge the 2x6 in between here, and if we can successfully do that, it would be really sturdy. So let's try it. So we're gonna put that like that. Did one of my stupid ideas work? This is beautiful. Now we can put some screws into that beam, and this thing ain't going anywhere. It is wedged between 2 structural beams, even though the beams are made from like all the Diet Coke cans they saved up for a month or whatever. Whew. Okay, let's see if it wants to support bikes. Actually, yeah, it'll support bikes. So this is the first BMX I bought on the channel because the channel's just started growing and people are like, how did you learn to like bunny hop and do all this stuff? And I'm like, I rode BMX when I was a kid. So I bought this BMX at my local bike shop for 325 bucks. It's one set of grips away from being operational. Everything on this bike works. I got some service out of it. It's just every time I get on it, I get unimaginably hurt because I've gotten to the point in life where 20-inch, I'm just super sketchy. So I'll get back on it again, but we're on a good streak now, not getting hurt. Let's hold off just for a little bit. I don't race BMX. I gotta find a kid who like does and needs a really cool bike because this would make their year. This is just going way too smoothly. So when we were living in Fort Lauderdale, Kevin had a swing bike and it got stolen off his front porch. And then one day he's driving and he sees this kid riding down the road, like in the bike lane on it, which I don't know how he stole it and rode it because it takes like practice just to ride this thing, right? The kid was riding it, squirrely, going everywhere. Kevin got out of his car and grabbed the bike, so the kid stopped short. He's like, that's my bike, give it to me. He's like, no man, I was just going for my friend's house. He's like, nah, you wanna wait here for the cops? And the kid just put up his hands, he walked away. Kevin threw it on his bike rack, he came home with the swing bike. But the good thing about the swing bike is natural theft repellent, kind of like a stick shift in a car. It's a day now where it's rare that you can find somebody that can ride it. All right, you ready for this?
Do a bar spin.
Will the Swing King bike rack? Because everything else you try to do with this bike, it's just like, oh, let me lean this bike up against something, and oh, no, it's gonna fold in half. I do not believe I've ever hung this up on a bike rack. Yeah, it bike racks wonderfully. All right, so that takes care of that. All of the bikes are hung up. Just some boxes and stuff. I think the boxes can go under the bikes. I think we're almost done here. So let me come up with a rack for these wheels. This is not gonna be strong at all. We're gonna have to put a little brace on there. It's good enough for what we're doing, which is holding some rims. Here's the one Kevin repaired. Why do we still have this? Like, we're actually gonna come in here and put this on a bike Sunday. Now I feel like a hoarder because I shouldn't have this, right? Wow, we're down to not that much stuff. I think we're doing pretty good here. So I guess I'll get the hand truck off the ground. I got a mount for that. Any normal sized person could just like do this. So as you can see, we can access the plywood, we can access the studs, bicycles, the airbags right by the door like I wanted it to be, and the ramp. This place was completely filled. So as far as I'm concerned, we just got more for our money. The same unit that I had before, I can now fit more stuff in. I know it's not an exciting like ramp or feature or something like that, but it's raining, the weather's terrible. If we're gonna have to do this stuff, better to do it this time of year and knock it out. So anyway, if you're looking to organize your garage or storage unit, I hope you got some ideas from this. You don't need to be a master carpenter, you just need a little bit of creativity. As you might have noticed, this is not Seth's Bike Hacks, this is Berm Peak. It's a different channel where we do stuff like this. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, and thanks for organizing with me today. I'll see you next time.